evening. Good evening. Get that off. How y'all been? It has been some time since I have seen you guys. Hope everybody has been well. I feel like since we last tapped in, there has been plenty of reason to jump back on. But I have been, I'm gonna say, relatively busy. The last couple of, I'm gonna say, last month, traveling and everything else. But I've been looking at what has been going on there in America, likening that to my experiences traveling, both abroad, going back to the United States, and I figured it's time to tap back in with you guys because things are seemingly only getting worse. I said this back in January. I said you guys are probably in January not looking at moving abroad as something that is on your radar, knowing that the presidential scenario he was going to come into the presidential seat officially. And I knew that there were some people that like, that move abroad stuff. It sounds outrageous. And we are now in August. So we're here in August 12th. And I bring that up because 8 months later, I felt like there are going to be a lot more people that are tuning into conversations like this. These conversations are designed, one, to let you know that you are not the only one going through what it is you're going through. A lot of these conversations are based off of, one, my own experiences, two, a lot of the feedback that I'm getting, the things that I'm seeing in the comments that lets me know that I'm hitting home some places. Some things are resonating no matter who you are, black, white, rich, poor, educated or uneducated. A lot of people are going through the same things. One of the biggest things that I keep hearing, and I always stop people when they say that because I'm like, have you been watching? Have you been paying attention to what it is that I said? Because I'm not saying that I coined the phrase, American rat race by any means or escaping it by any means. But if you've been paying attention to this platform, you know that I have definitely been talking about escaping the American rat race. And it is starting to be a scenario where, once again, no matter black or white, rich or poor, uneducated or educated, people are coming back to me with the exact same verbiage. That verbiage that I'm looking to escape the American rat race. No matter how big your house is or how small your apartment could be, most people are still looking in a way where either I'll never chase or obtain this dream that has been put in front of me, or I've got it. And it means absolutely nothing. I still don't want to. I had a client on the phone the other day, and they were looking at getting rid of their house, and they have a big house. And the thing that I thought was so interesting is he said, I'm looking to escape the American rat race. From the outside looking in, most people would think, this is exactly who and where you would want to be. But what's going on in America is it's no longer down to those lines. There are some things going on from an emotional perspective. There are things going on from a physical perspective, from what happens when you go outside, to even what you put into your body that you can't escape, no matter how much money you have in America, no matter how many stuff and things that you've been able to get to. And the American dream is starting to change. I'm not even going to say a little bit. I'm wanting to say a lot. A lot of you may be watching this and saying, okay, what is he talking about? Well, I'm talking about the reality, breaking the glass. You remember when Stone Cold used to come out and the glass used to shatter? It's breaking that glass ceiling, that reality thought process of the American dream. Not only is it obtainable, but it's something that you want. It's something that you want. Now, somebody said to me earlier today in one of the comments, well, the white picket fence was never my American dream, and it was never my reality to cater to that. And I get that, but I would tell you guys to expand a little bit on the American dream. Now we all know that the white picket fence, two-car garage, two kids playing ever so peacefully. That's kind of how they put it. But even as it has evolved, you have to look at the American dream even from a base scenario. I think the American dream, and we don't have this, by the way, the American dream is now something. It is now something that I think people just want to be able to go to work 40 hours a week and afford to be able to have a house, afford the car insurance, the groceries. That's just the basic stuff. We don't, if you just lay right there, how many of you can go to work at 40 hours a week and afford car note, car insurance? How about car, not even a car note, reliable car. So you might be able to have paid it off. But if you do have a car note, that's on top of that too. Then you got to worry about food. You guys spent the last year running about the prices of eggs. You remember? So we're talking about basic things. Just to be able to work 40 hours a week, get your weekends off, and then hopefully have time to take 1 to 2 vacations a year. You guys aren't asking for a lot. You're asking for bare necessities, right? But even that has become a negotiation between you and America. Well, I mean, are you working hard enough? Did you get enough degrees and did you get enough experience in jobs? And we also know in America the terms, the federal minimum wage. And the minimum wage, they just dropped it off, but the minimum wage is supposed to be a minimum wage to be able to live. You've got politicians nowadays saying, well, the minimum wage jobs are for students, for their high school kids working at McDonald's. Well, McDonald's is open 24 hours in some places. McDonald's open during when school kids are in school, as well as evening going into the nighttime. When are these kids that are only supposed to be working in federal minimum wage jobs ever going to actually get ahead with just doing that? If that was your thought process, never mind the reality of there are so many adults that are working jobs and billion-dollar corporations in America are paying them to work for them 40 hours plus, and they're still not making ends meet. So when we talk about the American dream, you have to realize that the base of the American dream was just having stability. Never mind extra stuff. Stability, a house. I went to work for somebody that has a house that hired me, yet I don't have a house because these things are so expensive where I live. Now, that may not be your reality. I'm really going to the far end extreme from somebody that may be homeless. But so many of us are in America working hard, doing that 40 hours a week, doing what we're supposed to do based off of the society of America and what we were told. Yet running into scenarios where the ends aren't all the way meeting. What does the American dream look like? The American dream should be something almost like a fantasy. Like, well, if I can just get here, maybe it's even bigger than this. We're just looking for stability right now. So many people. I just came back from my family reunion and shout out to all my cousins that came. But one of the things, while we were planning a reunion, that we went from a big amount of people to a small amount of people. And one of the reasons why was because came to find out, a number of my cousins happened to work in the government. And they were like, I can't plan for a trip, not knowing if I'm going to have a job. So if you are in a situation where the government is tied to your job, you're in a situation where my favorite thing that's going on right now, and by favorite, I do not mean favorite, but the healthcare situation. The healthcare is tied into government scenarios. And you got so many people that are in America not looking out for their neighbor. They're in a scenario where they're looking from a healthcare perspective as, well, go ahead, cut Medicaid, cut Medicare. That has nothing to do with me. I'm on Hawk. Well, sir, Hawk is just a subsidiary of Medicare and/or Medicaid. So when you are in the middle of America, a lot of us that grew up on the far left or far right sides of the world, as far as United States goes, we don't realize just how sparse things are in different rural areas. So when you talk about going to hospitals, some hospitals may be, a good hospital may be 30 to 40 miles away. And if that hospital is funded by Medicare and Medicaid, you, sir, are now impacted, but you are on Hawk. We've got so many people not realizing that the American dream definitely just meant stability as well as a little extra. We've got to go all the way back now and just fight for stability. I was looking at something yesterday and said, I always heard the concept, that people were, that were back in the day were on welfare, that were forced to tell people that they didn't have a partner or a spouse because based off of what you should be making, you don't qualify. So now you're in a scenario where you have to either tell the truth and be denied or live in the truth tell a lie and then run into the risk of all of that. I bring that up is because I was talking to one of my best friends today and he was like, I gotta get my daughter into, daycare, pre-K, whatever it is. It's like daycare. But everybody, United States, most people, especially even in a two-parent household, are going out and working all day. So when you do have these kids, you run into the scenario of how much does it cost to provide um, childcare. And one of the things he told me was like, bro, like it might be easier for me to apply as a single parent to get the what it is that we need because based off of what the government says that you may need to make the difference and what they're actually paying you in America is why the scenario of the money once you get it you run into the exact same scenario of I gotta figure out something else. You either run into a scenario of consistent fighting for resources where they continuously raise the price, yet do not raise the cost of how much you are getting, excuse me, the wages of how much you are getting paid. These things are they're like everyday things that you have to really consider. You ever been at the gas pump, y'all? And been in a scenario where you're like, all right, I need to put $15 in here. I do not need to fill up. We are making real life situations as far as decisions at the gas pump, at the grocery line. These things are, imagine so many people with dental care, even just basic things, having to get your tooth taken out because that's cheaper than getting a root canal because they have privatized and over monetized everything in the United States. So I've asked you guys back, the American dream. We thought it was just something that was nice, like a white picket fence, a two-car garage, something cool like that. But now we've gotten down to the boiling point where it's almost like, can we just be stable? Can I just go to work for at least 40 hours a week and just have enough money to do anything? So many people, I'm 38 years old. My mom grew up having second jobs. She was a full-time teacher. She picked up summer school, all of the things that she could try to do to make ends meet. So many people are there 20 plus years later in this exact same scenario. Even better, how about this? How many of you guys right now are making more money than your parents did at your age, but you don't see any of that spending power? The things that they were able to do, buy a car without having to finance it for 10 plus years, even if that's a wise decision. Um, I, I met somebody that told me their parents on a teacher's salary in the 70s was able to finance a house and a beach house, but they didn't really have any money. We're in a scenario where that American dream has shifted all of the way. So here tonight, I'm here to call and talk to you guys about what to do. Because stirring something up in you and not doing anything about it is a waste of my time and yours. These conversations are really designed to give you some real life talk about what most of your friends is probably going through, what you may be going through. But most people won't go out the world and say it to you. Most people won't tell you how to go leave abroad, to go leave America. Most people don't know how. And then when they did it, they didn't go write it back down. They also maybe not have the time or the energy to want to turn around and do something like this. Have a conversation with you that could help your partner, help your family, whether that's kids, your extended family, whatever that looks like. But the time is now. If we're in August, y'all got 3 and a quarter more years of what it is that you already got a taste of 8 months, and you like, what am I going to do? I'm starting to get people that are looking to change careers, not even a job. I went to go get my eyes done, eye exam, and the optometrist, middle-aged white woman, found out. She said, "Oh, where do you live at?" I said, "Colombia." She's like, "Really?" Really perked her ears up because apparently her brother-in-law is Colombian. But she was saying, well, what do you do for work? And I said, well, have these conversations, and number of other things, travel. But one of the unique things she said to me was she was looking possibly at leaving optometry because she was that ready to go. And I told you, no matter black or white, no matter rich or poor, no matter educated or uneducated, everybody's coming down to the same bottom line. Why do you think that is? Is it because everything in America is okay? Is it because everything that you've been told has actually turned into something that has worked out for you? Who knows? There are so many reasons why so many people tune into these conversations because it's the only conversation that you can have where you can jump in and tell me what it is that you feel. Because I know a lot of you are right now running through these problems. What do I do? What do I do with the dream that I was told that is completely out of my hands? And maybe if I do get it, you're on the other side of the coin. I've got it. Yet I'm still not happy. We now have access to internet platforms and different social media vibes where you can go and see what people are doing abroad. But most people are putting this into some sort of canned scenario for you. They make it a scenario that is very palatable in 30 to 60 seconds. They say, hey, this is what we do on Thursdays, and this is all of the fun that we have. And you take that video and you just go buy a ticket and you just go right to the airport. Because as so many times, I've realized that the people that are looking to move abroad, especially Americans, right now, they are looking to almost run out of there. Listen, I got $5,000 saved. Colombia is cheap. Mexico is cheap. I've got $20,000 saved. Colombia is cheap. Mexico is cheap. Thailand is cheap. All of these things are cheap. You guys are ready to jump out of the hot ass water because there's so many things going on in the bathtub you are in. But not knowing where you jump is another scenario. It's like a dating scenario, even a relationship. Like you are oftentimes told when dating and going into a long-term relationship like you're in right now with America, you should probably take a little time for yourself, afterwards, right? You don't need to jump into any other relationship immediately. You guys just got out of something toxic. Well, unfortunately, you need somewhere to live. If it's not going to be America, you need to go into somebody else's house. So you have to immediately go into a scenario of, I need to get comfortable being just a little bit uncomfortable. And people say, well, that's why I'm not going to leave. Well, you're going to get what you get. And if you're not a person that is looking to leave, no harm, no foul. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people that are actually at their wits' end. The American dream didn't work. It's literally time to pack up, peace out, and start over. But starting over doesn't mean you have a blank slate because you take you wherever you go in the world. You take you, your education, your experiences, your expectations. You take that all around the world. And now realizing that if you have never lived abroad, never been in a scenario to leave, you actually have to take a look at it. And the reason why you do is because you think that America is like the rest of the world. Don't get me wrong. That's what we were told. That is what we were told. We were told that America is the standard for the world, and then they just need to get in behind us, endure. This isn't up to par. So then we put the TW word on there, the third world country thing. And I always find that so funny to my American people that happen to be watching this because we say that certain countries are third world countries. Colombia, third world country. Mexico, third world. I ask you, do you really know what a third world country is? I say that is because so many people don't realize that the average American, the average one, just pick out of all the millions, pick just one out of a dot. Guess what you're going to get? The likelihood of you getting an American that can't read past the sixth grade reading level is higher than not. 52% of Americans can't read, yet the places that many Americans call third world countries have miles in comparison to literacy rates in the 90th percentiles to places that are third world countries. Oh, well, I can read. I'm not worried about that. All right, let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go up one. Let's up it one more. So you got a good job. You have a good job. You get 14 paid days off, and you get 5 sick days, and then you get I guess you get what, Christmas. What they do, like the federal holidays, but most of the time you really only get like the major ones. So let's call it, what's that, 14, 5 days, that's 19. Let's call it 20, 22, 23. Let's get called, you get 23 paid days off. Go for it. That's cool. One, does your job pay you enough to take multiple vacations? If it does, great. A year abroad, uh, in the United States. How many paid vacations do you have that you can take off and have the money to? Then when you factor in the other portion that most people don't realize is like you've got all of these holidays and everything else, but they've all become a monetized scenario. So even when you do get these federal holidays or these paid days off, you run into a scenario where you're like, why are we celebrating this? There's a reason to buy something all the time. I tell people my favorite, unfavorite holiday is President's Day because there's always a sale, and I don't understand for what. Why is there a President's Day sale? What are we celebrating? I have no idea. Yet there are so many reasons to look at other places where the average person, not like a good job, just a normal job, you get the, I think it's 18 federal holidays off in Colombia. I know that they get, it's probably more. I feel like they keep adding some, but it's at least 18 federal holidays. And then I think they get another 20 days off or 25 paid days off a year. And if they don't use them, they have to pay you out at the end of the year. And they give you, I think, a twice a year bonus, depending on what kind of industry you're in, which is like half a month's salary. That sounds like a raise, doesn't it? But these are places that you're branding third world countries. So when you talk about your quality of life living in America, I tell people America is the ghetto. So many of you guys are like, well, you live in the third world. No, I don't think so, my boy. I have all the time I need. Now, I'm not in a traditional job, so that is going to be skewed by me and what it is that I do. But the people that are working remotely, they are living their best lives, going to cenotes, going to river rafting, going to paragliding, ATV, and getting out with the people, just doing normal stuff that you can do that you don't get the opportunity to do. Hang out with your friends. There's so many reasons why the American dream has shifted, and now we're looking at things and saying, is this the reality that I signed up for? Is it time to look for a new reality? I mean, only you guys can shape your reality. This is just a conversation. But the conversation is hopefully designed to make you say, I was thinking that, but now that somebody said it out loud, this kind of makes a little sense. I had to realize in myself, I needed to redefine what my American dream was. Yes, when you leave abroad, leave America, you are still an American. You might not feel like it right now in America, depending on who you are. I didn't feel that way until I got out of America. And I realized I do have an American dream, but my American dream was down to me. It was isolated into a scenario where it was like, okay, what do I want out of life? Well, I wanted to eat good. And that doesn't mean shrimp and lobster every day. I'm not trying to get iodine poisoning. I was thinking about like eating quality foods. And I just thought from a base level of what I had in America. It wasn't until I left America that my thought process of what quality food was completely skewed. Give me an example. Por ejemplo, you guys get that rice that y'all put in the refrigerator, cream of mushroom soup in a can. Certain what do you call those, salad dressings. These things are so fake that they don't even sell them globally. They put labels on them. Like even this, I'm in Mexico right now, and it says excessive calories and excessive sugars. And some things they just are so exceeding the sugar and the calorie rate, they're just like, no, we're not selling this to people. These are things where I was like, quality of life, my food intake, what am I eating? You can't even go to a restaurant. I saw something the other day, they were like lab grown meats. And I'm like, lab grown meats, lab grown butter, non-animal butter. Like, and I know the vegans, they got their own butter and stuff, but I was talking about like supposed to taste like real butter. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to eat uh, from my house. Well, you're probably going to go to somebody's baby shower to make some meatballs, somebody's, whatever, and you're going to go to a restaurant at some point in your life. And you're going to see, or maybe you won't see, that they're not giving you lab grown meats. And the United States government said that was okay. And I was like, that can't be life. I also didn't want to be in a scenario where it's like, okay, cool, I make more money. That was my biggest thing. I was like, I can't make more money. I kept making more money. But things just kept raising. The cost of everything just kept raising. And then it's just like you look at how much you're spending just for bare necessities. And then you do the math on, well, I get paid this. And if I need to spend $5,000 for bare necessities, and it takes me 160 hours to make $7,000, then how much of that did I make it? Which is 4 weeks of work. Would you be like, why am I spending so much just to be alive? I'll never get ahead at $2,000 extra per month. Like what are you gonna do? I didn't want my life to be just some consistent like chasing a carrot that was never looking to be caught. I also wanted to travel more, man. Like that was really big for me. Like the cost from New York to Atlanta, New York to Los Angeles, those costs, you might be like, oh, it's not that bad. It's only $150. What you don't know will hurt you. Like, I mean, yes, a flight, $150 round trip. It could be great to go from Philadelphia to Atlanta. Go for you. Good for you. However, if a flight could be in country, $30 round trip or $60 round trip, if it's $60 round trip, you could take two round trip flights to two different cities and still save $30 for the cost of one flight in America to go to Atlanta. I'm not saying that I got a problem with Atlanta. I'm just saying like these are like reality things where it's just like math is easy and it's the same all over the world. One and one make two all over the world, and that don't add up. Never mind when I say, okay, cool, let me go to New Orleans, $350, $400. Well, living abroad, those are like continental, like other country trips. We're going to Panama or we're going to Costa Rica, and it's not even that much. They were like that 150, 175 price, depending on what you do, where you sit, how many bags you have. But these things are reality. And to realize that it wasn't going to be a reality at the rate that I wanted it, which is it. What do you want? What do you want from the American dream? The American dream is a blanket dream for everybody, but you ain't everybody, and neither am I. You have to figure out your whys, what your American dream actually looks like. And then you have to be open enough to realize that you aren't the first person to leave. You aren't the first person to go. So don't go expecting America where you are. People are already established in their own culture, their own language. They wear their own clothes the way that they like to. And that's the reality of it. But the American dream is what you shape it. What you shape it for your little individual square and the people that extend to you. But so many people realize now that like costing you, it cost you your peace, possibly to be considerably staying longer in the United States. You might say, well, what do you mean by peace? Well, some people know exactly what I'm talking about, and other people, they might need to be reminded of it, which is fine. Most people are inundated enough with school and families and everything else that they can get tossed around in their head a lot. But reality of it, your peace is always under a little bit of attack in the United States. Depending on what you have going on, it could be even more of attack. If you are a minority, that could be one thing. If you are a person of the LGBTQ community, that could be another thing. Never mind just the basic human thing of Americans have things called mass pew pews all of the time. Churches, grocery stores, movie theaters, amusement parks, walking around on the Las Vegas Strip. These are all things that have become normalized. Are you at peace? Ah, well, damn. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you go outside thinking that, yo, if something gets loud behind me, I need to make certain that I know what's going on and find the exit. These are things that we've normalized and gotten used to. We are actually things that have been ingrained into our society from generation to generation. Now, not as prevalent from my father to me, from his generation to mine. But now, if I was to have a child, I would be 100% concerned, just like so many parents are, about sending their kid to something as basic as school. What kind of security measures do they have? That's why I asked you, is it costing you your peace? Is that a way to live? It's not a question for me to answer. I already left. It's a question for you to answer. Because the answer is going to possibly lead you to what so many others realize. Everything that they have normalized going on in America is not the entire cadence of the world. Yes, we are getting that. We're getting that, and you get that in the world. You see. Don't get me wrong, because corruption and politicians, that is global, global. But certain standards aren't the same. Now, you have to find what your pocket is, because I've lived in Colombia and Mexico, but I've got friends in Panama, South Africa, uh, plenty of places, Qatar. But these are all people that made decisions to be where they are. Don't be such in a rush to leave that you don't look before you leave. You need to make certain that what you do, and from a research perspective, actually has value. One of the biggest things I tell people is to know your whys, and that sounds very, very broad, but I'll narrow it down for you guys. Knowing your whys. Most of you have it in your head of why you might be watching a video like this, looking to see what somebody could be saying about moving abroad. Now, I've been addressing a lot of the reasons why you might be. We're going to make a little turn here, but you've got to realize your why is one of the most important reasons. It's like gas in your car, and your why is a double-sided why. The whys are kind of like the what you need and what you are not looking for. What you are looking to leave. It's really important, because if you think, oh well, gas prices, rent keeps going up, food, cool. Narrow down to five in your head, great. But actually write it down. Write it down. Write it down. When you write it down, you're going to realize that there are more than five reasons that are on your head, that are on your spirit, that are on your heart. That you're like, I didn't realize that I had all of this in me once I started writing. Writing has become such a lost form, art form. Yes, I'm 38, so some of y'all might be looking at this and saying, "Well, I'm only 25. I don't have the time. I can put it in my iPhone." Nope. Take the time to write. The brain is trained in very unique ways. I've learned this. When you write something down, it is a different intention than you typing it, emailing somebody. Writing it down gives you your hand-eye coordination. You're telling your brain to put letters on a page. But these letters are very important to you, because these letters make up the words of why you are looking to leave. What also you are looking to leave is important, but what you are looking for. Now, don't get me wrong, because Narnia does not exist. Never Never Land is never, never a place that you will ever end up. But there will be some things that you are looking for. Well, I don't have this ability or freedom here. I may be looking for this freedom there. This is important as the things that you are looking to leave behind. You have looked at what it is that you are looking to give up in your life. You are also looking at what it is that you are seeking to gain in your life. That process and those steps are so important to making a successful journey abroad, because you are going to run into adversity at some point when you move abroad, without a shadow of a doubt. But if you have these things on you and you're able to get back to who you were before you left, at this point I've been 3 years going out of America, up out of the United States. However, um, if I was to go look exactly back at the whys and everything I told you to do, because I already did this, I'm able to humble myself, see how much things I have given up, see how many of these things that I've actually accomplished in my look of what is it that I need in my life. Because you're going to run into some sort of issue, problem. You're going to get sad about something, and it's okay. It's a part of the process. But knowing your whys is such an important thing to allow you to keep going, because it allows you to say, I know why I left, and I'm not willing to be who I was when I sat in America and I wrote this down about what I was fed up with America and what I needed more in my life. And you are going to be able to give yourself the extra energy that you need to continue on wherever it is that you may go. You might stay in the exact same place, but these things are so important to getting out and staying out if you are actually looking to go about doing that. Because most of you guys are in a scenario like the fear, the fear, the fear is killing me. The fear is gripping me. Like, what am I going to do? Things aren't working my way. And that is one way to look at it. But the other way, I think, and shout out to Tisha, she always says this, people are afraid, Rob. She's like, people are afraid. But what she says is, never mind the fear. What about the freedom? Never mind what you're leaving. What about what you can be gaining? The opportunity to be who you are to your true core. I ask so many adults this that live in America, and they look at me and they're like, damn, why you say that? I say, what are your hobbies? And some of them say, well, I like to paint. I like to jog, bike. Often I get, well, I used to like to play basketball, and back in the day I used to, and I'm not talking about old people, I'm talking about people my age. And I'm like, well, when's the last time you were able to do that? Well, work, kids, dog, work, kids, got to go back to work. And it's just like, damn. You all remember we used to go to the playground as kids. We used to be kids at one point. We used to be kids with dreams on monkey bars and slides. And we wanted to do all of this stuff that was going to be so impactful in the world. We're going to be the astronaut and all of this other stuff. I'm not saying you got to go be an astronaut or anything else, but you are a person. You are not just somebody that clocks in. You're not employee number 984-632. You are not them. You are a person. And America has done such a great job of having us focused on the capitalism and American dream, that we've forgotten to just be humans, who we are, never mind who we could be to other people. The humanity in America has gotten so stripped. So it was just like the freedom to be me. I like to draw, I like to paint, I like to play basketball if my knee ain't hurting. These are all things that I like to do. But when did I have the time? When do you have the time? When is the last time that you've done your hobby? I know. I ain't had to go there. I get it. But in reality, I did. Because if you don't know, then you won't know. You don't remember who you used to be. You actually had an opportunity to continue on that path, yet America stifled it. Say, put your head down, go to work for 40 years, retire at 65, and then that's when you can live the life. You have all the money that you need to be able to afford the life that you want. Parents are starting to retire, and are able to live their American dream. My mom, she got her passport 2 years ago. Has been to Colombia. She has been to the Dominican Republic. She has been to Jamaica. She has been to Mexico. She has been to the Bahamas. She has been on 3 cruises in 2 years. She just retired. But imagine if you could only wait until you retired and you're 65 years old and your body don't work like it used to. Hey, maybe if you're 38 years old, your body does not feel the same as it does when you were 28 years old. Never mind 20. I had hair when I was 18. Like, we all different. But I'm not about to wait the rest of my life to be in a scenario of I'm just being able to leave. I'm just being able to enjoy life. I'm just being able to do my hobbies. Painting beautiful, with a beautiful view that nobody had to draw. I'm literally just looking at it. These are things that are my reality now, but they were not my reality. I had the stuff, I had the things, but they weren't my reality. The American dream had confused me into thinking that once I got the car and the house and the clothes, the shoes, that I was going to feel good about the dream. I'm on my way. And so many people are in a scenario where they're like, I don't feel good. I either got it and it's worth nothing to me at this point, or I'm chasing it and I may never actually obtain it. Yet I'm killing myself to get it. I'm spending all my time, all my energy away from my family, my friends. I haven't played basketball, painted, um, bowled, whatever you like to do. And so long, I can't even remember what the feeling is like. That is what America's dream has morphed into. It's somebody else's dream. It's like they're using you to build the dream for them. They're out on the boat and you're doing 45, 50 hours a week just to be able to keep the lights on. What if I told you life didn't have to be like that? So many people ask me, well, I need to make $100,000, in the United States. I need this, man. I got to be able to have this. I tell people all the time, whether you're looking for a remote job, you're looking to change careers, one of the biggest things I tell you is that $100,000 a life, United States dollars, it doesn't even afford you the same life that it used to when it was a thing. Like it was like, oh, we need 6 figures. Like 6 figures, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's all 6 figures. But even the 100 doesn't even afford you the life. But I tell you, the reason why is because America just costs so much. It just costs too much. When you go and travel abroad, and I don't mean on a resort, I mean off the resort, into the local places with the people, you're like, I went out, and 2 people, 2 drinks apiece, 2 entrees, appetizer, coffee to go. I'd only spend $40. Must have been a hookup or something. Nope, 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 nope. Just things don't cost that much. You go back in the United States, lunch with 2 people is probably $75, 100. That lunch would have probably cost you $100. Dinner for that price would have cost you probably 125, 150. I've seen it all. Every time I go back home and it's Taco Tuesday. Every time I go back home and I go to these Taco Tuesdays, shout out to Taco Craft. They're like, yeah, we got our discounted tacos. One taco is $6. $6 for one taco. You know how many tacos they can get in Mexico for $6? These things are starting to add up in such a unique way, because that unique $100,000 lifestyle that so many people are chasing, you could take a job for half that and go live in an affordable country and still live a better life than you are doing at that $100,000 staying in America. I've seen it happen. The average, I think like lawyers in Colombia, they make like 3,000 USD a month. The same lawyer in United States would probably be making $15,000 to $18,000, but just things don't cost that much, especially to be able to afford that lifestyle. Just things don't cost that much in certain places. So don't kill yourself thinking, oh, I got to go find a job. They're going to give me $150,000 a year. Like, really hot, oh, back up. Start tapping in, having these conversations. Start thinking about what you can do versus if you can do it. So many of you guys may be in the same age range as me and maybe not have gotten on the computer in a while. That is going to be your biggest hindrance in moving abroad. If you are not retired and receiving a monthly income that you don't have to do anything with, you're going to need to make money. So many people ask me in my DMs in the comments, well, what if I just teach English in Colombia? Well, I mean, you can. However, what also happens is, depending on where you go, the salary that you may desire may not be where you are. I always tell people the easiest thing for you to do, especially coming from America, is to find remote work, make US dollars, and go other places. It will behoove you. Even if they go to Panama and it's 1-to-1, they use US dollars there. But things don't cost that much as they do in Panama. You can get an oceanfront condo for like $1,100. You cannot get any of that in the United States. So consider these things when you're framing your move and thinking like, I've got to have it all. You don't. You just need to have a plan. You need to get a legitimate plan. And one of the reasons why we started not only this platform, the virtual conferences, the relocation tours, is because I knew it was going to lead you guys to something. I'm not a person that likes to stir up a bunch of nonsense and then be like, well, now we're all riled up. What do we do with that? Like, I got nothing. No, no, no. We will take care of you. You know, tonight you might have heard a number of things that might have piqued your interest. A lot of it was based off of where you guys are. Depending on if this is your first time tuning in, my name is RJ. I'm originally from Philadelphia. I have lived abroad for the last 3 years. I have lived in Medellín, Colombia, and currently I am in Mexico. So I say all of that is because I'm a person that believes in the community. And what we have done with this platform is create a community of people that are interested in moving abroad, people that have moved abroad, giving them resources, real talk, real conversations, making sure that you know that somebody understands where exactly you are today. So that way, when we have these deeper conversations about what you need to do to move forward, what you need to do once you get here, how to integrate with these other communities that will embrace you if you are open, these things are going to be framed in a way where they're palatable, they're digestible, they're easy to follow because we want to make certain that one, you don't feel like you're alone. So many people in America are walking around like, yeah, everything's fine, everything's fine. And then I post certain things on the internet, and then I realize none of y'all are fine. Hundreds of comments, like, man, I'm going through the same thing. Like, well, why didn't y'all say anything? Y'all wanted me to go out and say it. I get it. It takes somebody to say something, but this is why you're here. These conversations are not only designed to, one, wake you up from where you are, but two, give you an opportunity to see that there is not only opportunities for you to come and stay right where you are and learn more just like you are now, but two, be embraced by communities that are already being here waiting for you. There are so many things that we have unrolling in the next couple of weeks. I'm so excited to be able to be back, talk to you guys, cover some of these conversations and these topics because it might be time. We now know, if you've been staying here this entire time, you might now know that the American dream has shifted. The new one, pack up, peace out, start a new life. But remember that the new life that you start is going to be rooted in value resources, trusted resources. So if you are a person that is looking to move to specifically Colombia, we've got some big things in store for everybody else, but for Colombia people specifically, if Colombia has been on your radar, we'll be covering Medellin, Cartagena, as well as Santa Marta. So if you guys are interested in moving to Colombia, please go to movetravelcolombia.com. That is where you guys can sign up for our next virtual relocation conference. No, it will not just be me talking to you guys like this. We have done this a couple of times, but we bring on the experts. We bring on the immigration lawyer. We bring on relocation experts. We go over what the neighborhoods look like, the real estate. Yes, you do not have a credit score abroad. It's just in America. So you do not need to qualify from a credit level of, can you afford this house? That's nothing to do with that. We get into what that looks like, furnished and unfurnished. We also talk about some real talk. What if you have kids? What does that look like when you move abroad? Or even deeper, how do you help your child cope with moving abroad, or even yourself? So we brought on coaches that are literal doctors that do this every day so that they can help you prepare to be able to move to Colombia. We presented a group of people that are experts all within their field that are designed to help show you the way to Colombia, the way to do it the right way, to get into actively volunteering in Colombia. There are so many resources that we have put together for this virtual relocation conference. It allows you to sit right where you are and get real life information, real life context, real life understanding on how to make the first step, how to go about moving abroad, what to do when you get here, who to know, who not to know, and everything in between. I appreciate you guys as always. It has been quite some time since I've been on, but you will probably see more of me. So get used to it. It is definitely time as things start to continue to get a little bit more interesting in America. My DMs and my YouTube comments are always on fire when it comes to these things. So, want to make certain that we are doing our best to tap in with you guys, give you something that you can land on that you know that is going to show up, and make certain that y'all know moodtravelcolumbia.com. You guys can go there. You can sign up for relocation tours, both physical and virtual. We've got plenty of free resources on there if you're looking to move to different places in Colombia. We've got some additional resources that'll be coming out with some additional locations. I'm really excited to be able to get those people on. So definitely tune in. Make sure you guys are going to Black Expat Life in Colombia. YouTube, please like, share, follow, and subscribe for more. I will talk to you guys mañana. I appreciate it as always. Y'all have a good night. I'll talk to y'all soon.